First, you'll need to install the Bluemix CLI on your machine. Wait, why is it called Bluemix? IBM Cloud used to be named Bluemix, and at the time of this course filming, the name Bluemix still exists in pockets around the website. I know, reasons, right? Go to this URL to install the CLI. Double-click the package that you downloaded in order to install it on your machine. After you install the CLI, open Terminal and log in using the CLI and your account information that you've created on IBM Cloud. You'll get prompted for your username and password. Enter them each and hit Enter after you do. After you successfully log in, you'll see a prompt to choose your organization and your space. Go ahead and enter this command and follow the prompts to choose the org and space that you made your Cloud Foundry application in previously. In this case, we only have one organization and one space, so it's chosen automatically for us. After you choose all of these, check to make sure that you can see your application space using the CLI. You should see information that you need to deploy right there in the command line. Now, let's prep your server. Navigate to the root directory of your server using Terminal. There are two files you need to modify before hitting the quote-unquote big red button. The first one is already completed for you. Open up .cfignore in a text editor. A cfignore file is just like a gitignore file. A gitignore file tells your source control to ignore whatever kinds of files or file types that the ignore file specifies. In a similar manner, the cfignore file tells Cloud Foundry to ignore whatever files or file types that the ignore file specifies. You'll notice that the starter project already specifies the directory you want to ignore here. You're not going to upload the .build directories because Cloud Foundry is going to take care of the building procedure in Swift for you when you deploy your source code. The other file you'll need to update is manifest.yaml. You want to be very careful here when you work with this file. .yaml files are very specific about spaces and indentations, so be very careful when you change lines in it. Open up your manifest.yaml file in a text editor. Let's take a look at what you already have listed here. This file is a listing of all the characteristics that your application will have when it's running on Cloud Foundry. You can modify these as you'd like, but these are default choices made to optimize for the server you'll be running. Let's look at each of them. Instances describes how many concurrent instances of my application I want running at a time. If my server gets a lot of traffic, I might want to run more than one instance. Timeout is the amount of seconds your server will be allowed to get started. If your server takes longer than 180 seconds to start up, Cloud Foundry will quit early. Name is the name of the application that you assigned on the console of IBM Cloud. This is the only line you need to change, so go ahead and put the name of your server here. It's very important that this line is a perfect match for what you put online. Build pack is the type of environment you want to build inside your Cloud Foundry container. Because we're building a Swift application, we want to use Swift build pack. Command specifies the build command that you specify when your Cloud Foundry container is up and running. From the build directory, whenever you run this on your local machine, you run build/debug/emoji journal server. Therefore, we specify the same command in your manifest. Memory is the amount of memory in megabytes to allocate to the application. This is one of the benefits of using Swift. It was designed to run on a mobile phone, so you can run a server on a tiny memory footprint. There are a lot more attributes you can add to your manifest. If you want to see more, go here to the link in the author notes to learn more. After you save this file, it's time to hit the big red button. Exit your text editor, go to your command line, and use the CLI to push the app to production. What will follow is a lot of logs explaining what happens as Cloud Foundry prepares to build the application after you deploy your source files to the appropriate location. Let's warp ahead in time to when it's finished. Alright, looks like my app is up and running now. If I open up a web browser, I can go to the home page for my application and boom! You've got a Kitura server up and running on the real-life internet. Throughout this course, I'll ask you to go ahead and deploy the latest API to the cloud. Make a mental note or a post-it note that whenever you want to deploy your app to the cloud, you just need to type bxapp_push from the command line in the root directory, and the CLI will do the rest. Okay, I have one last bit of coolness to show you before you start writing some server code, the Kitura CLI. I'll show you how you can automate everything you've done in the past few videos with a Swifty command line tool in no time at all. See you then.